Hey, online crew. Let's have a chat about algorithm updates for both Facebook and Instagram. What is going on? What do you need to be aware of? What are the opportunities for you? And what are the scary things that are coming? So, I want to share with you some latest information regarding updates. Particularly those of you that maybe have not ventured too much on Instagram but would like to. Now's probably a really good time because of the updates that they've just released. But there is a big concern about the future of where we're going to end up with organic reach and I'll share my screen and I'll show you what Meta, which owns both Facebook and Instagram, are thinking of moving forward. And if you're building a business on social media, you just kind of want to be aware of this kind of stuff, where the opportunities are and, maybe where we're heading. So, firstly, if you are joining me live, say hello so I can give you a shout out. And just a reminder that next week is going to look very different. For my normal kind of routine. I won't be live on Instagram at all. I won't be live on my Facebook business page. I won't be live on YouTube all next week because I'll only be live in my free group, my free social media group for the Lead Magnet Bootcamp. You don't want to miss that bootcamp. It's just something that if you're growing a business on social media, you should absolutely learn how to create and offer out lead magnets, because that's how you get people to raise their hand from social media. If you're missing this in your business, you're missing opportunities. Absolutely. Hey, Dean. Hey, Cherie. And I keep forgetting on StreamYard, I can't see those that are watching in the group. So if there's people that I haven't shouted out, I've got to have my spare phone on. I did do a very detailed training yesterday for the coaching community with all the new things with live streaming and showing people's comments and all the things you need to be aware of in groups and things like that. So if you're a coaching community member, make sure you catch the replay of that from yesterday. But here's where we're at. Who's on Instagram? Who avoids Instagram? Like, let me know where you're at with Instagram. I'd just be interested to know. Is it a platform that you use? Is it a platform that you're scared of? Is it a platform that you've not really got much love from? Like, what are your thoughts around Instagram? Because what you might want to consider with Instagram, with the changes that they've just announced with the algorithm, it could be a good time for you to up your game on Instagram, and this is why. So I'll just read exactly how it is with Instagram and the algorithm. So Instagram is they've made some major updates to the Instagram algorithm to favor original content. So I'll just read it rather than just giving you my interpretation. So they're favoring original content, opposed to those that just repost their work. So we've known that about Facebook, for quite a while. Original work, original content is always going to be favored. Those of you in the industry that you get graphics given to you by your company, potentially, or somebody else in your team has done something and you just repost it, you will not get as much reach as if you recreate it. Do you see the difference? Like, you can take something somebody else has created and just repost it, or you can kind of recreate something similar yourself. You're far better off doing that because you'll get more reach out of something like that. Okay, so original content is being favored rather than reposted content, because they can tell from the algorithm if something's been reposted. They also have said that smaller accounts are going to be given much more opportunity as far as reach goes. So what we're kind of used to and what we see, particularly on Instagram, is the larger accounts just keep getting larger. They just get favored. They post something and they get all the reach, and they just get bigger and bigger. And then there's all these people with really small accounts that really, really struggle. That might be you. So what Instagram has said that the changes with their algorithm now is that they're going to favor original content more so over reposted content, And they are going to favor smaller accounts rather than larger accounts. So this is where I say, maybe it's time to focus on Instagram a little bit more. If you've had an account that hasn't done very well, maybe play over there a little bit more now. So this is good news for those of you that have tried to get some traction out of Instagram but haven't, or maybe you've been holding off because you haven't really had much love there before. Like, it might be a good time to just kind of up your game. You got to give it time though. But Instagram have announced 4 major things with the algorithm over there. So they're removing what they call aggregator accounts from recommendations. Now, if you don't know what that means, there are, and you may have seen them, there's Instagram, channels that, or accounts, if you want to call them, that just repost other people's content and they get huge traction out of it, but it's not their own original content. So the Instagram algorithm is going to start diminishing those. And they put a lot of that kind of content in their recommendations, and they're not going to do that anymore. So they're really going to stop favoring big accounts that just copy other people's content. Okay, so that's where it leaves room for smaller creators like you. Okay, they're going to start adding labels to reposted content. So if they can pick up in the algorithm that it's just something that's been reposted, they're going to put a label on it to say that it's reposted. So they're, I guess, trying to give more traction and attention to the original creator of their content. They are going to replace posts with original content in the recommendations. So if they see that somebody's reposted an original piece of content in their recommendations, they're going to put the original piece of content, not the reposted content. So people that have made it big on Instagram from just reposting other people's content, they're not going to get the same traction anymore. They really want us to create original type content, and they're going to favor that moving forward. And number 4, smaller creators will get more distribution. So that is really good news for you. If you don't have a big account on Instagram and you want to get some more traction, now is probably a good time to play. Okay. And they've specifically said they're going to spotlight smaller, newer accounts. Okay. So that's the new updates on the Instagram algorithm. When it comes to Facebook, here's some things that you should be aware of. And just know that you have a lot more control with your Facebook algorithm than you think, but it depends on how you play. It depends on the groups that you're in, the pages that you follow, your activity, what you search, what you scroll. Okay, so on Facebook, although Meta owns both Instagram and Facebook, and what I've just shared with you regarding the Instagram updates is amazing, you also need to understand how the Facebook algorithm works. And there's 4 major factors that they've really focused on in 2024 with the Facebook algorithm. And that's what they call inventory, signals, predictions, and reference. So every little bit of content is going through these 4 kind of factors: inventory, signals, predictions, and reference. And they're called ranking factors. What you see in your news feed depends on these 4 factors. Your activity in what you do will be determined in what other people see of your content. Okay, so let me just run through them briefly. So inventory, Facebook, so you look at your feed and does your feed work for you? Do you see pretty cool content? Are you seeing content that you want to see, or are you seeing a whole lot of crap? That will be determined by your activity. What you see, what you look at, what you engage with, what you don't, what you hide. If you see content from Facebook and you don't want to see it, and you see a whole lot of ads from things that you don't want to see, click on the 3 dots and hide it or snooze it. Maybe there's somebody that's being really active in your company, or somebody that you don't actually want to block them, but you just don't want to see their content for a month. Click on the 3 dots of that person's content and snooze them for 30 days. What you do will determine what you see. So inventory is, Facebook is, going through the potential feed content that they're going to put in front of you and in front of others. This will be determined by the people that you are friends with, the pages that you follow, the groups that you are in, and how you interact on the platform. You have a lot of control with what's going to be put in your newsfeed by what you do. Now, a lot of you are just scrolling with no intention. You see things that you don't like, but you don't do anything about it. You look at things and you think that's awesome, but you don't engage with it. Like, engage with the content that you like. Get out of the groups that you don't need to be anymore. Stop following pages that you don't follow anymore. Like, every now and again, just go through and have a look at all the groups that you're in and remove yourself from the ones that you don't need anymore. If you're following some pages, like business pages, but you don't really look at their content anymore, unfollow those kind of pages. If you see content, like I mentioned, that you don't want to see, click the three dots and tell Facebook, I don't want to see this content anymore. I want to snooze this person for 30 days. And the stuff that you do see, put some reactions on, put some loves, put some likes, leave a comment. All of that is controlling what they call inventory as to what you see. Now, you can turn up on social media. If you're here kind of listening to a video of like mine like this because you want to build a business on social media, take more control of your news feeds in both Instagram and Facebook. Stop scrolling and just sitting in the background and lurking and looking at everybody's stuff. Like, actually, take more control of what you're seeing and the inventory that they're taking on you by what you do. Okay. The second one is signals. So they're looking at, when they're taking the inventory of all the content, they're now working out how relevant that is to you as to what they put in front of you, and they're ranking that. So again, you have a lot more control over what you're doing and scrolling and interacting on. Don't be a lurker. Like, when you go to your social media, you want to see content that's from people that you want to engage with. You want people to engage with your content. But if you are sitting back and you're just lurking on social media rather than sort of controlling the content that you see and engaging with the content that you like and looking at the people that you want to see content from, your social media is not going to be very effective for you. So you can turn that around. Generally, with the algorithm, you have to change your ways for probably about 30 days to retrain the algorithm to see what you want to see. So if you're one of these people that just sit back and lurks and doesn't take any control of your newsfeed, it's not going to be that effective for you. It's also looking at the timing of when you are on socials, when you're engaging, what you're searching at different times of day. So timing also plays a part. They are also, one of the signals is predictions. So there are you may not be aware of this, but there's certain times of the day that you do different things on the platforms. Now, you might sit down at night while you're watching the TV and then start scrolling. And that might be, like, I've just got to use my husband as a classic example. He sits down pretty much every night at the end of the day. Now, he's out and about every day. He works, he sees clients, he's got his own business, he's out and about. He's probably not on his phone much other than for work reasons during the day. But at the end of the day, when he's sitting down after dinner, sitting down on the couch, he's always scrolling something to do with motor vehicles, cars, motorbikes. Some of you might know we've got a museum behind our house. It's not public, it's just private, but classic cars, motorbikes, signs. Think of American pickers, like that kind of thing. So he's always looking at that kind of stuff. So when we say something like predictions, absolutely Facebook would know Paul's patterns with what he's looking at when, and absolutely it would be pushing content to his newsfeed at that time of day that's to do with that kind of content. So it is a little bit scary. We know that with technology, with tracking, with AI, they know our kind of every movements to some degree. So you will see certain things at certain times of the day depending on your activity. And if you go, have you ever done something where you've searched something and then suddenly you're seeing all these ads for that particular thing, or you looked at a jumper or a boat or a mug or something, and you opened up that ad and now you're seeing a lot more ads of that very same thing. So not only is that tracking what you're opening and what you're doing, but it's also tracking the time of day that you are looking and searching at things. So again, you actually have a lot more control over your news feed by snoozing the things maybe at that time of the day that you don't want to see. Maybe you did search something and it was helpful at the time, but now you're like, man, stop sending me all that content about that particular thing. I bought my thing. I don't want to see any more about that thing. Then click the three dots and snooze it, or tell Facebook, I don't want to see any of these content, anymore. I just did that recently. I got picked up by, and this is why you want to play on TikTok. Like, side note. So I've got a TikTok channel, share my weight loss journey, and I, talk about all things sort of health and weight loss and how I've lost my weight and all that kind of stuff. And once you get a bit of a following, people reach out to you about promoting their stuff. So somebody reached out to me and said, would you promote our mascara? And I'm like, yeah, no worries. I'll do it. One video, good money, did that, paid really well. Like, opportunities open up when you get a following on TikTok. But I went to Facebook and it's like, I'll just search what they're doing on Facebook. Do you not think that I now, every day, pretty much when I open my Facebook, that I am bombarded? One of the first things that I see is Facebook ads from this particular company that I did a video for, because I went looking at it and I've got to the point where I've had to snooze it, because it's like, I know you've sent me the free mascara. I've done my video. I know what it's all about. I don't need to be bombarded with these videos anymore. But so it's tracking all your patterns. Now, you don't want your feed full of things and ads that are not going to, be of benefit to you. You want to engage with the right people. You want to see content from your friends and groups and business pages that are going to, work for you in building your business. Am I making sense? And just trying to get that message across is you actually have a lot more control in the algorithms than you think. So don't be a lurker and just scroll and not do anything about it. Take more control of what you want to see in your Facebook, as well as, giving yourself the opportunity to be seen by other people. Okay. And the last one is reference. There is relevance. There is a relevance score. So if you've got a higher score with things that you're doing or people engaging on your content, it will have a higher relevance to people. So the right type of content will be put in front of you and your content will be put in front of the right people. But it all comes down to your activity and what you're doing. So work a little bit smarter when you're scrolling rather than just aimlessly scrolling. Okay. Now, the other thing that I wanted to make you aware of, and this has just been released, and I do want to share my screen and show you these price points, because this is a little bit concerning for all of us moving forward. I don't know where this is going to end up. And if you're watching on Instagram, you're not going to be able to see me screen share, but I will talk about it. Have you heard of Meta Verified? Meta is Instagram and Facebook. And you may have heard in the past, I've talked about it, about when you become Meta Verified, you pay. So you can pay, and the unfortunate thing about it is you want to be Meta Verified on Instagram and Meta Verified on Facebook. You have to pay both platforms. $14.99 is what it's been. But Meta have just announced this week a whole lot of different tiers of payment to become Meta Verified. So the scary thing that everyone's talking about is, how long can we all enjoy free organic reach? Where are we going? Where are we headed? My message to you is, stop wasting your time scrolling on social media and being more mindful of who you're interacting with, who you're engaging with, where you're spending your time, who you're following, what groups you're in, what pages you're following, because of the organic reach. And if you want that organic reach to work for you, you want to be more strategic about it, because this is where we're headed and this is scary. Let me share my screen. And I'm not saying you have to go out and do any of this, but I'm just making you aware of what is coming. And I can't actually see my screen. So hopefully, because I lose myself when I share my screen. So hopefully, I hope you can see this, because I haven't got my spare phone and my battery's probably flat. Yeah, it's dead. So hopefully you can see this. This has just been announced. So what we've had for a while is the business standard. So it gives you a little, have you seen the little blue tick that some people have on Instagram and Facebook? It's called, and sorry, Instagram, if you're watching on Instagram, you can't see my screen, but I'm just, I will share the link, this link above. I'm just going to copy that URL. And I'm going to come back to StreamYard and put it in the comments, but you'll only see this link if you're watching from my business page. So I've just put the link to the article that I'm showing you in the comments section of my video, but those of you in my free group, you won't see that link. You'll only see it on my business page. So just go over to Helen Martin Online, my business page, and you'll be able to get this information that I've got on the screen. Business standard, $14.99 a month. A lot of people have done that. It means that you've Meta verified, you've got a blue tick. Supposedly, you get an enhanced profile. Supposedly, you might get a bit more reach, search optimization, like you can see all the different things there, and you get more support from Meta. If you want to be Meta verified on Instagram, you need to pay on Instagram. If you want to be Meta verified on Facebook, you need to pay there as well. It's not connected. But have a look on the screen. Sorry, Instagram people. As to what they've just released. Now, this isn't necessarily a given, but this is what they want to actually implement, and they're testing. So we now have Business Standard, which is the $14.99. Now there's Business Plus, which is almost $45 a month. Business Premium, $119 or $120 a month, and then Business Max, $350 a month. If this is where we're headed as, Facebook and Instagram users, this is scary, because what's going to happen to free organic reach if this all gets in? So what a lot of people are saying is, if you see something about this and you asked your feedback, go, no, we don't want this moving forward. We don't want to have to pay for what we currently have for free, do we? But this is where we're headed. And as you go, have a look at the information. I won't go through it all here, but as you look through these categories, and if you are watching on Instagram, I'll put the link in the comments that you can go and have a look at this information that I'm sharing on my screen on Facebook. But have a look at these different levels, and you can have a look at, the enhanced profile. It also gives you links in Reels. So as I said, I won't go through all of this now, but this is the information that, if this is important to you, to kind of look at. But this is where we're headed. So it's going to be very interesting moving forward. What happens to our free organic reach, and are we moving towards, if you want to have good organic reach, links in your Reels, more support from Meta, you're going to have to pay. I've actually said for years now, there will come a day where what we know on social media and the opportunity that we are afforded with organic reach, we will have to pay for. And this is just a sign of that, don't you think, as to what's coming? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean what I've just shared with you will come in, but it's there, it's being tested, they're asking for feedback on it, and it's scary. Okay, so if you're not aware of that, I wanted to make you aware of that. If you get the opportunity to comment on any kind of forums, go, no. We want to be able to build on social media and get good organic reach for free. So I guess the emphasis in why I share this information with you is one of my mottos is working smarter and not harder. You can spend a lot of time and be a slave to social media and not get the results that you are looking for. But if you're not aware of how the algorithms work and what you need to do, and just not be a lurker and a scroller, actually work out what you want to engage with, who you want to follow, who you don't want to follow. If you're in 1 million Facebook groups and they don't actually have any meaning to you before, go to your groups and get out of them. Remove yourself from them. Look at all the business pages that you're following and start unfollowing people. Have you got a new direction? What's your interest? What's your thing? Is it health and wellness? Is it makeup? Is it travel? Is it skincare? Is it crypto? Is it like, what are your interests? Like, be really strategic in where you spend your time on social media. So not only you see what you want to see in your news feed, but your content will be seen by the people that you want to see. Okay? Does that make sense? No, it's not just for business pages. This is like Meta verified in general. So watch this space. But yeah, I hope that's helpful for you. Just a reminder before I jump off, my Lead Magnet Bootcamp next week. So again, you won't see me on Instagram next week. You won't see me on my business page next week. You won't see me on YouTube next week. You'll only see me in my free group. How you get that information and get the workbook that I'm working through next week is helenmartinonline.com/lead magnet. You absolutely want to learn how to offer things out for free. And if you can do it automated with emails, amazing. But I also want to show you, those of you that don't have that sorted out yet, you can still have lead magnets and just do a call to action and give it to somebody in Messenger. Like, there's opportunities for every single one of you. But your job on social media, if you're building a business, is to get people to raise their hand. There are people watching you. Everybody's lurking to some degree. You may not think people are looking at you, but there is somebody looking at you and everything that you do. And when you back off a little bit, they're kind of like, oh, where are they? Or what are they doing? Or you show something behind the scenes and they're like, oh, what are they up to? There's somebody always watching. Our job on social media when we build a business online is to draw out those people that are interested in what it is that you have and what you help people with. And I'm going to go through that whole process next week on the Lead Magnet Bootcamp. I love delivering my boot camps. We had a lot of fun. They're just really cool to, deliver, and you've got nothing to lose because it's free. You do get the opportunity to keep the recordings if you want to, but you need to pay. Okay. So Valerie, what's Valerie? I'll just get rid of that or put that over the top. I guess I am confused. Where can I learn more about the pros and cons of being a member of many Facebook groups? That's a pretty open-ended question. Many Facebook groups. So I'll just address that kind of quickly. You only want to be in Facebook groups that serve you. You don't want to be in a whole lot of different Facebook groups where you're not building your connections, you're not learning anything, or creating like more human rapport with different people. You can be in a whole lot of Facebook groups and build new connections. If that's why you've joined some groups, awesome. It serves a purpose. But most of you would have joined groups, Facebook groups, over the years. You don't even know that you're in them anymore. So you want to you could just do it on your phone and you go to groups and have a look at all the groups that you are in. If they serve you, if you're building rapport and you're building connections, or you're learning something from being in that group, stay in the group. But get out of all the groups. When I've gone through this exercise before about like having a look at what groups everybody's in, and said, how many groups are you actually in? People are in hundreds of groups that they've forgotten they were even in. It doesn't do your algorithm any favors. The fact that people can tag in groups, the @ symbol, @everyone. So you could have been in a group that you joined 6 years ago. Somebody uses the @everyone. They put a post in the group and they do @everyone. It's actually been a good trigger to remove myself from a lot of groups, because I'm like, what the hell is that group? I don't even remember joining that group. Or that was a challenge I did 4 years ago and it's a dormant group now. Get out of that. Like, get yourself out of groups and unfollow pages that just don't serve you. If you're in groups where you're networking, building connections, or you're learning something and there's a benefit from it, stay in them. Absolutely. But that's really the crux of how you want to evaluate that. Okay? So following Star Trek and Lord of the Rings groups is not serving. I don't know, Valerie. Does that serve you? If it serves you, go for it. Stay in the group. If it doesn't really serve you, and if you're on social media for the purpose of kind of building a business and building connections, maybe not. Up to you to make that call whether it serves you or not. Okay, so I hope this information was relevant for you today. I look forward to seeing a lot of you next week in my free group for the Lead Magnet Bootcamp. So I will catch you then next week. Have an amazing weekend, whatever part of the world that you are from. Bye.